Hey guys, I just want to make a video about uh, my Sparrows Night School Kit Kickstarter Edition slash wizwazzle set, and just give my 2 cents about it and how I feel about it the month and a half, 2 months I've been using it. So this is my first and only lock picking set, and so why did I buy this? I bought this basically because I wanted the 3 locks in here. Um, if you want to buy these 3 practice locks alone, Sparrows charges you $65. And every YouTuber has said spend money on locks, not picks. So this thing costs $77. So basically, I got a Kickstart kit and this Sherman case, I think it's called, for $12, saving $18. I elected to get the Kickstarter kit instead of the tuxedo kit because it was cheaper to get into, spending $77 instead of the $95. And if I enjoyed it and wanted to add on to this, I would get duplicates with the expansion kit, getting a double of the snake rake and the half diamond. So I'm just going to go through and give my pros and cons about it, what improvements Sparrows can make to it, and what a beginner should really, what a beginner kit should really entail. So if you like open this up to a brand new picker, all these picks, are very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very alluring to the new picker with all these different picks. Oh, and by the way, what I meant by duplicates is if you buy the Kickstarter kit, the expansion kit, and the Grad 2.0, all 3 kits basically combine to the wizwazzle set. So in my mind, that would be a better investment. So I'm going to lay this all out and see what you all get. Be right back. All right, so I laid everything out. On the left is basically the night school kit with the Kickstarter kit. So the Kickstarter kit, you get a city rake, a triple peak or Bogota, the short hook, and the Sparrows hybrid. And then you get the Z-wrench in 3 thicknesses, and the L-wrenches with the flex, as well as these cutaway practice locks with 5 standard pins, 5 spool pins, and 5 serrated pins. Then with the expansion kit, you get a shallow Euro hook, the snake rake, the half diamond, and the twin peak. And then for the wrenches, you get the Z wrench with the flex, just a regular L wrench. And then with the Grad 2.0, you get the high reach, the steep hook, and the Sparrow's worm, as long as pinning tweezers, and then really long L wrenches with an L wrench with a twist. All right, so what's good about them? What's good about them is these are all made out of stainless steel 301 and 25 thousandths, which is a really good thickness for beginners. This 301 stainless steel is much better than the spring steel you might find in one of those cheaper Chinese kits. Like I said earlier in some other videos, you can be pretty rough with these, and they won't bend and lose their shape. Now, the difference between the stainless steel and spring steel is, even though that these are harder, they're more brittle, meaning I can apply more pressure to these picks and it will retain its shape. Whereas the spring steel, if I apply the same amount of pressure, it might start to warp and I gotta, bend it back into shape. But with harder steel, one negative is, past a certain pressure threshold, these will break. It just happens. Picks break. I've already broken a short hook before. It happens. I mean, I don't have much to judge other picks by, but these are pretty comfortable to handle. This rubber grip they have fits nicely. The edges are pretty rounded, and then I didn't have to do too much sanding with them. When you first buy them, let me see if this will get a good picture of it. They come a little bit yellowed, and obviously, if you can tell, I spent some time sanding these already. But honestly, it took me 15-30 seconds to get that little yellow grime off, and then I hit it with 400 for like maybe a minute, and then 1,000 for another minute, and these are pretty smooth now. So, what are some cons? Sorry, I'm bumping the camera. There's no top of the keyway tension bars. Technically, wizwazzle said he gave these extra long picks for flexibility. So if you needed to make a top of the keyway tension bar, what you basically do is stick the end that you're not using in, kind of figure out that distance, and then just bend it over. And then you got basically a top of the keyway tension bar. If you look, if I use like a shorter side of the Z wrench, you can get it to where basically this is flush with the face of the plug, gets another point of contact, which makes it a little better to turn from the top of the keyway. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. What else don't I like about this? I have some gripes with this case. It could be better. There's some minor inconsistencies with the stitching. For instance, like these three pockets are bigger than this pocket right here. You can see the stitching. This flap is much bigger than the folds on the other three. So I can't even fit one of my padlocks in here. What I use this pocket instead is I put my shims and my plug follower in here instead. And then I feel like this inside liner could be a little bit bigger, because like I can't even lay this completely flat because there's not enough material. Like I'm starting to see like worn edges along here just from me stretching out the case. But it does its job. It's great. Oh, this is also a real good tip. I keep sandpaper in here. I keep a piece of 400 and 1000 grit just in case. You never know when you need sandpaper. But the zipper is very nice. It does its job. Also, so these tweezers are pretty nice. They pick up regular size pins okay, but I couldn't pick up any padlock pins. I actually had to deformed this a little bit with some needle nose pliers. And I moved very slowly just to make sure I didn't break off these tips. But it took me, 5 minutes, and I can now pick up padlock pins. And then the biggest con, in my opinion, are these locks. I don't think for a brand new picker that these are ideal. They're kind of hard. At first, I didn't really know what I was doing, and it's nice to see how you're manipulating the pins, but to try to pick a 5-pin lock like this right from the get-go, it was way too hard. I didn't learn a lot of things like binding order and stuff. So what I think they can improve on this lock. So, like I said, some of these pockets aren't perfect. Maybe if they used elastic bands, that might fix the problems. But I think you still probably have to use pockets for these locks, because these padlocks are probably a couple pounds. They're pretty heavy. They're solid brass. And I would not include these cutaway locks with this kit. As you see, you have 4 pockets here, right? So I would not include the cutaway locks, but include their progressive pinning kit that starts out with 2, 3, 4, and 5 pins. So you kind of work your way up to a 5-pin lock, because jumping into a 5-pin lock head on, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just lifting it up till I see that it's flush with the shear line. And then also one big learning curve I had. Let's see, where's that thing? I wish they had maybe include some etchings on this pick to show exactly how deep is pin 1, how deep is pin 2, how deep is pin 3, 4, and 5, and so on. Because in the beginning, sorry, this light sucks. In the beginning, I thought I would stick my pick all the way in, and I thought I would be, lifting up the 5th pin, but in reality, lifting up the 5th pin is about here instead, So when I thought I was manipulating the 5th pin, I was really just lifting both 4th and 5th together. So what would I have done differently? Honestly, I wish I didn't buy this many picks. I wish I would have spent my money on more of a variety of thickness than pick profiles. Because guess what? These are the picks I use all the time. That's it. These are the 3 picks I like to use, and I always use. Short hook, number 1. I have even yet to use my worm rake, my high reach, the double Bogota, and the Euro profile. I know maybe once I get into higher security locks, they might be more useful, but right now I'm pretty brand new still. Like I said, I've only been picking for almost 2 months. I can't even get this 1100 open yet. So I'm going to give you a suggestion on what, if you want to get into lock sport and you're brand new, what I would do is, if you're tight on a budget, go buy the Kickstart kit, which is basically this and these wrenches over here, and get the progressive locks, and that will set you back $48 US plus shipping. Or if you have a little bit extra money, get the tuxedo kit for $32 and the progressive kit for $27.50, and that's $60 plus shipping. Right now, I'm almost $200 in, and I don't even use 3/4 of the stuff. All right, so here's my suggestion. Go buy the tuxedo kit here. And this is gonna indicate the short hook in 15 thousandths. So you would get these, level 1. And if you really like it, Lock Sport, what I would add next would be top of the keyway, the 5.5, as well as their heavy bars. And then the SS Dev hooks. That would be a good kit. All right, so I'm going to wrap things up here real quick. So like every YouTuber said before me, spend your money on locks, not picks. Like, you don't need a $200 lock picking set. Like I said, I only use 3 things: a short hook, a deep hook, and the Bogota rig. And you don't even need to buy new locks. You can go to Goodwill, and Goodwill's a good spot to buy locks, or garage sales, or even your local locksmith will probably give you a bunch of old junk locks that he doesn't want anymore. So that's all I got for you today. As always, never pick a lock that you don't own or have explicit permission to pick, and never pick a lock in use. Take care.